Some of these questions are too good. I am so excited because today's video is going to be a Q&A. I asked you on my Instagram story, what do you want to know? I said, make it interesting, and you sent through some goodies. So I'm going to do a quick fire Q&A. I hope that you learned something. I hope that this video helps you in some way. And as always, if you do enjoy this video, make sure you drop a comment below. Some of these questions are going to be fitness-based and some are going to be non-fitness-based. I just want to answer as many as I can. And I feel like a lot of you have been following me for a long time, and now I have just recently hit 11,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I just thought, like, a lot of you don't even really know a lot about me, so I thought I'd answer some of the more personal questions as well. So, Lara, would you rather avoid conflict or tackle it head on? I am someone that, you know, in the past used to really be a people pleaser. I would do whatever it took to keep everyone happy, even at the expense of my own happiness. But in time, I've kind of learned that, you know what? I think it's really important to be an open communicator. I truly believe in your relationships and friendships and business partnerships. You actually need to be willing to discuss the tough topics. So if you're not happy about something, something needs to change. And usually you can't just, you know, push past something in a relationship by sweeping it under the rug. So I don't like to, you know, get confrontational and have an argument over anything, but I do like to kind of discuss how I'm feeling, hear how the other person's feeling, and then move forward from that. So I would say that I'm not a pushover, but I also am not about to step on anyone's toes. I really like to make sure that both myself and the other person in the relationship or the business kind of relationship is also equally happy, and that you come to some kind of mutual agreement. What are your thoughts on plant-based diet? So in terms of vegetarians, vegans, pescatarians, general, whatever you want to call yourself and your lifestyle, I actually don't have any opinions on what anyone else chooses to do with their life. I think too many people have opinions on what everyone else is doing, and they need to focus on what they're doing themselves. But from a nutritional point of view or achieving your goals point of view, I personally with the Anjuli Fit Squad offer pescatarian, vegetarian, and general meal plans. I do have a few vegans on the Anjuli Fit Squad, and that just means that all they need to do is sign up for vegetarian and then choose vegan alternatives for certain things. There is nothing wrong with wanting to go vegan, whether that is for religious or ethical reasons, but I do want everyone out there to realize that it's not necessarily the type of lifestyle you live in terms of the foods that you eat. It's more so how much you eat that's going to determine whether you lose weight or gain weight. So whether you're vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, or general, you can lose weight or gain weight depending on how much you eat of each thing. If you are plant-based or you're vegan and you want to make sure that you are maintaining lean muscle and losing fat, not just losing weight, you need to make sure that your protein intake is up. So I do suggest that any vegetarians on the plan be open to having protein powder, eggs, and egg whites to help with protein intake. And for plant-based members of the Anjuli Fit Squad, I recommend that you do use a protein powder to help increase your protein intake. The reason for this is that a lot of plant-based protein sources are very high in carbs, and if your goal is fat loss, it is important to make sure that you are controlling your total caloric intake, and it can just be a lot easier to use a protein powder to help you get your protein intake up whilst keeping your overall calories down. Why may women with the same amount of body fat still look different? One could be more lean. This is a great question. So I never used to understand the idea of fat percentage and muscle percentage. So you could see two people that are the same height, the same weight, and they could look completely different. And the reason for this might be that one person merely eats what they want and they sit around on the couch and they don't work out, while the other person works out, eats really well, they track their macros, they weight train, so they've got complete different shapes. The one here that is tracking their macros and weight training has built some muscle, so their weight might be heavier, but they look leaner and fitter. Whereas the person that does no exercise and kind of just eats whatever they want, they might not look as lean or as fit or as healthy because they just have a lot of fat on them, and that fat is weighing them down, whereas the muscle is like more dense, and so this person's the same weight, but they just look leaner. Another thing to take into account is that people store fat in different places. So some people might not store much fat around their waist, whereas someone like me, I personally tend to store more fat around my waist and my back, whereas other people might store fat around their butt and their thighs. So everyone stores fat in different places on their body. Someone that is 20% body fat might look very different to me at 20% body fat, depending where they store their fat. So the most important thing is not to get caught up in the numbers on a scale or body fat percentages. It's to focus on the process, so your nutrition, your training, and your overall lifestyle habits, and how you feel from the inside out. I can tell you one thing, the number on the scale or a body fat percentage number doesn't necessarily bring you any more happiness than another number on the scale or a body fat percentage. True happiness and confidence, I believe, comes from taking care of yourself and feeling good from the inside out. It is truly so hard to feel miserable if you're taking care of yourself. Creatine, great question. So do I think that creatine is a good supplement to use, and do I use it? Yes, I do. So I've been using creatine for a few years. I use a monohydrate creatine, the EHP Labs brand. It's just pure 100% creatine monohydrate. And yes, it is the most researched supplement in the industry. So a lot of people ask if supplements are necessary when it comes to achieving your goals. No, they're not. The most important thing is going to be your actual exercise routine as well as your nutrition. You cannot outwork your diet. I'll say it 100 times over. But supplements can supplement your good nutrition and your training. So creatine is a great one for endurance, recovery, and building lean muscle. I personally do take it whether I'm shredding or whether I'm looking to build muscle. And I do think that it helps with my strength, recovery, and just overall progress in the gym. So yes, I do recommend creatine, but again, the most important thing is going to be your nutrition. So once your nutrition and your training's on point, you can definitely take creatine. You can mix it with fruit juice, you can mix it with water, you can have it at any time in the day, but the most important thing is consistency with it. So you need to be taking it every day. And then the next question people ask is, do you need to do a loading phase where you take 10 to 20 grams a day? No, I personally don't do it. I just take 5 grams a day every day, even on rest days. What is your most favorite dish that you quit after starting working out? So when it comes to food, I have a no food police rule. I don't believe in cutting out any kind of food groups, but when I started working out, I honestly cut out so many different things. Like I cut out ice cream, I cut out chocolate, I cut out carbs, I tried keto, I tried all these different kinds of fad diets, but the best thing I have done for myself and educated many people worldwide on now is if it fits your macros. I'm all about eating the foods that you love and making foods fit into your lifestyle so that you can achieve your goals. One dish that I kind of stopped eating out since I started focusing more on my nutrition would definitely be pizza, and then second one would be pasta. So it's not that pizza or pasta is bad, but it's just that pizza out is not as good as the pizza I make at home. I personally would rather make some mini pizzas at home that fit into my calories than go out and eat 1,200 calories worth of a takeaway pizza, or go out and get a pasta dish that is full of cream and it's just half a day's worth of calories just in one bowl at a restaurant. I'd rather make my own pasta at home that I enjoy and I can fit into my macros. So in terms of eating out, that's definitely something I miss. And then another thing I don't really eat out ever really is battered fish with chips. So when you go out to a takeaway shop and you get fish and chips, I used to love that when I was younger, but again, it's just not worth the amount of calories or fats that I'm putting into my body. So I am definitely conscious of the foods I put into my body because I want to feel my body and I want to feel really good from the inside out. And I also believe that certain foods that I eat out with a mixture of ingredients that are really high in fat is usually not so good for my skin, and I want to keep my skin nice and clear. I love the mixture of questions I've gotten through of fitness and non-fitness ones. So what do you do for fun, and what's the most adventurous thing you've experienced so far? I'm not gonna lie, going to the gym is something I do for fun, but I also really like hiking and big walks. I love getting out in nature, going to waterfalls, doing adventures. But in terms of adventurous things, I'm terrified of very high heights. So you would never get me doing bungee jumping, you wouldn't get me doing skydiving. Anything in which I am plummeting from the air down to the ground is not a happening thing. But I have done a few kind of fun and cool things. I went to Thailand with Reebok a couple of years ago and I got to do the treetop thing where you're going from tree to tree. It was kind of dodgy in Thailand. It didn't feel necessarily safe, but it was so much fun. And then another thing I absolutely love doing is parasailing. parasailing as well. So for one of Ross's birthday presents, I took us parasailing in the Bay of Islands in New Zealand, and it was so beautiful. I felt a lot safer being attached behind a boat and just kind of like flying through the sky. That was awesome. So yeah, I definitely like walking and hiking and adventuring, and to be honest, the most memorable experiences would be anytime I go overseas. I absolutely love traveling overseas and adventuring, and I'm so sad that this year I didn't really get to do like any of that. Can we build muscle with a constant weight of dumbbells by increasing reps? So in terms of building muscle, the most important thing is going to be progressive training. A lot of people all around the world right now are currently working out from home, and I understand that the weight range is going to be limited. So yes, you can build muscle with the same amount of weight by increasing reps, because that's still progressive. So for example, if you only had a 10 kilo set of dumbbells and this week you did 10 reps, then next week you did 15 reps, and then you keep increasing the reps, yes, you will be able to build muscle as long as you're progressing. Another way to increase the intensity of your workouts is to decrease the rest time and increase the work time. So for example, if you're doing shoulder press, instead of just smashing out your shoulder press, you would come up and you would slow the time under tension coming down, pause for a second at the bottom, go up, and slow it down coming down. So yes, you can still build muscle with limited weight. You just have to make sure you're progressing your time under tension as well as your reps. Do you take vitamins for your hair? So my hair is finally starting to grow. This year, I really want to grow it nice and long, but anyway, I pretty much use the full Be Pure Be Warren range. I love their supplements. I've been using them for maybe like 4 to 5 years. Absolutely love their stuff. Anything through from the gut health to the vitamin D3 to the magnesium before I go to bed, and I think that that would help just fill in any gaps in which I'm missing from the nutrition I'm getting. But again, like at the end of the day, nutrition is the most important thing, and then supplements just help with that. I also think that collagen really helps with nails and hair as well, and I'm a big believer in using a marine collagen. So there's a lot of different brands around the world for that. Do you currently have days you feel less body positive, and how do you handle it? I think this is a really good question, because recently I've been posting on Instagram my current shape and how I feel about how I look right now. And in the past, in all honesty, I would never ever post a photo of me in a bikini at over a certain weight or a certain body fat percentage. But this year, I really focused on putting my mental and my physical health first. This meant getting a regular cycle, taking care of myself, getting stronger in the gym, and just being kind to myself. It's taken me a long time to get here. And of course, some days I don't necessarily feel like 100% like, yeah, girl, you look so good. Some days I do have down days, and it happens to everyone. But I think a few key things are to, one, not dwell on it. On the days that you don't feel really good about yourself, don't go jump on a scale, don't go stare in the mirror all day, and don't go scrolling on social media looking at how perfect everyone else looks online. I think it's really important to focus on the things that you love about yourself, even on the days when you're struggling to think of anything you like about yourself. So for example, yesterday I thought of 5 different things I liked about myself. That was part of my self-love December ritual, and I came up with things like my smile, my work ethic, my energy, how I help other people, my kindness, and all these things that weren't necessarily related to how I look. I think when we fixate on how we look and we put a lot of emphasis in our worth being in how we look from the outside, it can really tear you down, because you know what, looks aren't going to last forever, but who you are as a person will stick around forever. So remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and just put out as much good energy to the world as you can, and don't forget to give that to yourself as well. So yes, there are days that I don't feel 100% confident in myself, but I just realized that, you know what, a bad day doesn't mean a bad life, and just because I felt this way one day doesn't mean it's going to last forever. Take care of yourself, nourish your body with good foods, move your body, get outside walking, get in the sunshine if you can, and just be as kind as you can to yourself like you would to your best friend. Jenna from the Anjuli Fit Squad, favorite part or thing of this year? Honestly, this year has been crazy. I talked a little bit about it in my 2020 recap video, the last one I did, but You know what? My favorite thing of this year has been adapting to change. I'm someone that doesn't really like a lot of change. So not being able to go to the gym was a big challenge for me. Having to work from home and living with Ross's family for a few weeks during lockdown was a big change for me. But how I handled that, I think, is really good. I managed to stick to my nutrition, I stuck with my workouts, and I made myself really proud. A few key things I took from this year is that nothing is set in stone and nothing is ever certain. You really can't live your life waiting for things to get better and planning years in advance, because you never know what's going to happen in the next week or two. Things are so unpredictable, as is life, and I just think that it's important to make the most of every single day. I absolutely love that I helped more women around the world become more confident in their own skin. That was a big plus for me. Because I wasn't competing, I was able to focus on growing fit with Anjuli. I was also able to focus on my overall health, and also this year is probably the most time Ross and I have spent together in a year, because neither of us were traveling throughout the year. So there were a lot of pluses about this year. I guess it kind of allowed me to work on myself, work on my business, work on my relationships, and put out more content to help other people through such a tough year. Sophie from the squad, I had to answer this. She said that. Sophie from the squad, I had to answer this. She said, if you were a muffin, what flavor would you be? I think I would be a chocolate muffin, like with big chocolate chunks in it, or a strawberry and white choc muffin, because I just love those muffin flavors. They're delicious. Who doesn't like strawberry choc or chocolate? What are your tips to learn to do pull-ups? So when it comes to pull-ups, a lot of people really want to be able to do them. I always find that the leaner I am, the better I am at pull-ups, obviously, because it is less weight to pull up. So I suggest doing it, if you can, using an assisted pull-up machine. Some gyms actually have assisted pull-up machines. And if you're not lucky enough to have one of those, what you can do is get a really thick resistance band and start with that. If you don't have a resistance band, you could get a partner or a friend to help you by supporting you from the legs and helping you go through the motion of pulling yourself up. Working on lat pull downs is also another way to strengthen your lats to pull you up. They are a very hard exercise, so I suggest starting with those, getting stronger with that, and then eventually you can work your way up to, like one pull up, try doing assisted. One pull-up, try doing assisted. Then maybe the next week you might get to 2 pull-ups, 3 pull-ups, so on, so on. So they are a hard exercise. Does take time, but of course, if you are, really heavy right now, it might help if you lose some fat first and you focus on getting stronger in the gym with lat pull downs. And then as you get leaner, you can look into doing body weight pull-ups. What do you do to keep your mind fit after training your body? Hashtag video games. So I'm definitely not a video gamer. I know a lot of people really like playing games, but I just am not into that. I think like my kind of hobby is creating content like YouTube, or maybe it's going for a walk or reading. I absolutely love reading. I would say that I mainly keep my mind fit by reading a lot of books and listening to podcasts, or even just listening to business type videos on YouTube. That's kind of more my jam, not video games. How much time did it take you to prepare for the first time you competed? So my first ever competition was WBFF Gold Coast, May 2017. I had already been weight training for about 3 years before going into that competition. So I built some muscle and then I shredded down, and I did 101 days of like a shred prep. So 16 weeks of pretty much just fat loss, 4 whole months. That was on top of the years of training before. I think a lot of people now get into the gym, they start working out, and within the first month or two, they want to compete. And in all honesty, I recommend that anyone that is looking to compete, go and watch all my competition videos where I have Q&As all about it. I think that's a really important thing because I spread as much information as I can there. But I also recommend committing to training and nutrition for at least 2 to 3 years before getting on stage. Build a really good relationship with food, your body, and your training before you look at competing, because it's a lot of pressure mentally and physically to get on that stage. How do you stay motivated? The truth is you're not going to feel motivated all the time. Recently, it's been really hard for me in the gym. I don't know why, maybe it's the time of the year, but I'm feeling a little bit burnt out and I'm not necessarily motivated to get through the whole of my workout. Like today I had lower body, I was working through, and I honestly just didn't want to finish the workout. And there's going to be times where you feel like that. The most important thing is not necessarily motivation. It's understanding what your goal is, having a plan in place, and then being committed committed and disciplined to doing the work. I cannot stress this enough. If you are looking to end this year and go into the new year thinking new year, new me, it's going to be different, it's going to be my year, I'm going to achieve all my fitness goals, I want you to realize that nothing changes if nothing changes. You will never achieve your goals if you don't work on building the discipline you need to do the work, even when you don't want to do it, because that's when it counts. It's so easy to go to the gym when you feel like it. It's so easy to eat healthy when you feel like it. But when it actually counts is when you don't want to do the work and you put yourself through it anyway. I always feel better after I stick to my nutrition and after I work out, even when I didn't want to, as opposed to not feeling like it, not feeling motivated, and then going off the rails and doing something else. Did workout and eating healthy food affect your love life in a positive or a negative way? This is a good question because I often get DMs on Instagram from people saying, my partner doesn't eat healthy, they're like encouraging me to eat pizza with them, they say that I'm boring because I don't go out and eat XYZ with them. And I really feel this when people say it, because I think it's so heartbreaking to hear that partners aren't supporting their other halves to achieve their goals. Like, I don't believe that anyone in your circle should be encouraging you to go off plan and away from your goals. But in reality, it happens. Like, people don't understand why you want to lose weight, why you want to get fitter, why you don't want to eat takeaways, 3 times a week. And it's not their job to understand. It's your job to be firm on your goals and know why you want to do what you're doing in order to achieve it. So you need to be firm with other people on why you're doing what you're doing, and don't give in to temptations when they're really kind of like peer pressuring you to drink or get Uber Eats or go out for pizza, whatever it is. So when it comes to my personal love life, I was lucky enough to have met Ross, my now fiance, in the gym. So we both went out on our first date, and I still remember it to this day. We went out for dinner, and the waiter asked if we wanted any dessert, and both of us said no. But both of us are foodies, we both love dessert, but I think because we met in the gym, I was trying to impress him because he was a trainer in the gym. I didn't want him to think that I would get dessert, and I think he was trying to be a good influence on me because he met me in the gym and knew like I had some fitness goals. So we both didn't get dessert, and ever since then, like, we kind of still laugh about it now because we're the biggest foodies and we absolutely love eating out and we love dessert. But in terms of healthy eating affecting our relationship, if anything, like, our relationship's actually better when we're eating better because we feel better from the inside out. You feel sexier, you feel more confident, and that improves your relationship. The better you feel, the better you feel in all areas of your life. No, it hasn't affected me, but I have heard of it affecting other people, and I think it just comes down to you being honest with your partner. Let them know what your goals are, why you want to achieve them, and then be open with them and let them know how they can support you to help you achieve that goal. How often do you weigh yourself and why? This is a really good question. So some people are pro the scales, some people are anti them. I say if the scales upset you and they leave you feeling really negative towards yourself, take the batteries out, throw the scale away, and do not step on the scales. I have different kind of views on the scales. It really depends on the individual. If I am shredding for a competition, sometimes it requires me to weigh in every day for a week so I can get an average. Your scales are going to fluctuate from day to day, and it depends on many things. Your cycle, whether you had more salt the day before, more sodium, whether you didn't drink enough water, whether you drank more water, whether you went to the bathroom in the morning or not. So many different things will affect your weight, and when you realize it's just data, it allows you to not have any emotion to that number. So for example, if you weighed in every day of the week, you'll find that your weight goes up and down from day to day, but by the end of the week, what you're going to do is divide it by 7 and get an average. And if you're weighing in every day, you could see that that average is slowly coming down, or if you're looking to build muscle, you might see that the average over time is slowly increasing. But in terms of me right now, honestly, I'm not really fussed on the scale. I'm not really weighing in much at all. If like ever, I'm trying maybe just like once a week or so just to see where I'm at. And when I shred, I'll probably go down to weighing like 3 times a week or once a week, just so I can kind of get a gauge of what's happening. But honestly, the scales are not the be all and end all. I like to encourage the squad and all of you to focus on non-scale victories. Are you sticking to a plan? Are you building healthier habits? Are you feeling better? Are you sleeping better? Is your energy levels higher? There are so many other things to focus on as opposed to just the number on the scale. Sometimes women will come to me, we'll work together, and over 90 days, I'll see their body completely transform and they're composition looks totally different. They've built muscle, they've lost fat, but their weight is exactly the same as when they started. Now, if you were only relying on weight and you weren't looking at progress photos or measurements around your waist and your hips, you might think that you haven't achieved anything, but in reality, your clothes fit better, you have more energy, you're making healthier choices, you understand nutrition better, you're being kinder to your body, and so many other things are happening. So please don't let the scales dictate how you feel about yourself or your fitness journey. So many questions came through, but I thought I would end this Q&A off with, what are my goals for 2021? And the truth is, there's still a solid week left of this year, so I'm not really focused on the new year. I'm focused on what I can do each day now to take me close to my goals. I believe that goals should be created and reflected on from month to month, or even week to week if you've got some smaller goals. I don't think that goals are something you should set at the start of the year and then never look at them again until the end of the year when you realize you didn't achieve any of them and you've got to, create the same goals for the year ahead. I do believe that goals are something you should reflect on throughout the year and adjust as you go. I'm continuously, changing my goalpost. As I achieve one goal, I increase it to the next thing, and I'm continuously looking to progress. So in 2021, I definitely do have some goals I'll be looking to achieve, but I'm more so focused on this year still, and I'll handle those other goals in the new year. But there are so many exciting things coming. For those of you on the Anjuli Fit Squad, stay tuned because I have some amazing prizes coming forward in 2021. If you are not already a part of the Anjuli Fit Squad, you know where to find me. I can help you with home or gym programs, your nutrition, accountability. You get support from other women all around the world and an incredible Facebook and Instagram community. And I am always here to help support you. So if you do need any help, head along to anjulimack.com, join today, and stay tuned for these amazing prizes coming in January 2021. You!